a.m. This will be my first live stream of the day. I'm going to go live one more time later in the day. We have boxing, a couple cards to talk about. There's a UFC card. We started talking about the UFC card yesterday. I've given you guys 2 parlays. I put them both up in our public YouTube posts, and I also shared them on our Discord. Guys, if you haven't seen my upload, breakdown, analysis, and prediction of Regis Prograis versus Jojo Diaz, I uploaded that yesterday on the fight prediction playlist. You can see my breakdown on that. Also pinned in the comment section here, join our Discord. Johnny Says Boxing Insider Group on YouTube. It's a couple bucks a month. As you see on the live stream, all the boys with the blue stars, they are members. You get access to the Discord. You get accessibility to all the wise boxing heads on my channel and share parlays, ask questions, stuff like that. So we'll just get this thing started right now. Hopefully everybody's doing well. As you guys are checking in, let me know how it's going. I know some of you wild boys took action on the other Japanese card yesterday, and I just woke up. There was an upset. I didn't play it, and I know some of you guys might have played it. I have a client. I ask him about why he bets. One of my clients bets on everything. He bets on ping pong, esports, arm wrestling, paper football, pencils. And I go, why are you betting on everything, mate? He goes, Johnny, because I love the pump. So if you guys on my channel took action yesterday on the obscure Japanese card and you bet the favorite, Kai Watanabe, and you lost, mate, sometimes being patient is better. What's up, DJ? Julius Sims Jr. looks a little dehydrated. All right, yeah, pencils. Pop, pop. Come on now. That's not, I don't know if you guys know about pencils. I was the pencil king. But anyway, you guys understand my point, right? There's some savages out there. And I'm the type of guy, if you're my buddy, I'm going to tell you how I feel about something. What do you bet? Literally, my boy bets on esports and digital. So gambling is legal in Australia. It is super legal. If something was either legal or illegal, gambling is super legal. Something also that I never, if you guys know, so is prostitution. So prostitution is also legal here in Australia to where they have regulated it and there's brothels everywhere. So the way the government regulates sex is the brothels are legal. All the girls get tested for it. I'm only saying that because the culture here, on one side, like yesterday, I told you guys it was a police state regarding digital profiles. You go out to a club and there'll be just cops with dogs trying to sniff you, that sort of thing. On the other hand, culturally, it's the Wild West. So gambling, super legal in pubs, in bars. You'll go there and you'll see right in the CBD, Sydney Central Business District, where all the fine big buildings are. And you'll have people gambling on digital horse races. So anyway, my point is, if you're betting on obscure boxing matches, come on, mate. You don't always need to get the pump. We got cheers from Africa. We got our new subscribers coming in from Africa, boxing fans in the house, goats in the house. All you guys tapping in, I appreciate you. I appreciate the support. This is my Friday. This is your Thursday. Let's get after it. And we got stuff to talk about. Now, I've already seen some of the opinions from 79 Pro. I definitely agree with him on there. I like Regis on points. Mar the Prince. Regis knockdowns over 0.5 plus 120, under 0.5, 163. Yeah, Buzzler. I'll take the moniker Unk at 43. Bama. Okay, Julius, we're going to get in some conversations here in a couple weeks because college football is starting, and we know about, Bama versus Ohio State traditionally over the last 20 years. Nice little rivalry. But I like Regis. Oh, mate, dude, no comment. No comment. I'm just saying, when I first started working, I think it was 2013, I get to Sydney. I get a job as a strength and conditioning coach at a health club. And the way the gym I was working at, this thing is like a multi-level health club, yoga studios, swimming pools. There's a physio in there, and there's 30 other personal trainers slash strength coaches. The business model is we would pay rent. So similar to like a tattoo artist or a salonist, you would pay rent. I would pay, at the time in 2013, I'd pay $450 a week to run a business from their health club. I'm there for a week. I'm there for a week or two, and I'm in the coaching locker room, and I'm here some of the guys, and they're just openly talking about going whoring. So so it's part of the verbiage. It's part of the nomenclature and the culture. At least in the strength club I was working at, the boy, what are you guys doing? You know, I got dinner with my girlfriend. I got a client tomorrow. I got sparring tomorrow. And then the other half, yeah, we're going whoring. We're going to go whoring tonight. And then we have dinner tomorrow. And it would just be spoken about like that. And I remember how big of a culture shock that was for me to hear that. Like, what the hell? Did these guys just say whoring? Did they just create an adjective for paying for sex? And anyway, so yeah, it's wild, dude. Australia at one end, like in Sydney, super sophisticated, safe, wealthy, really nice optically. I love it in Sydney. And then on the other, and then you know the police. Our lockdowns were brutal during the pandemic. Like we were on lockdown for over 2 years. We had a 5-kilometer restriction zone for over a year. It was insane. I tell people that. I still kind of have trauma about that. We had police on horses going through neighborhoods, checking to see if people were outside. It was super insane. And that, on the other hand, that's an example of the police state. But on the other hand, brothels legal, online gambling legal. It's insane. So there's like this sort of dichotomy of ethics that, you know, and then you just got to remind yourself this was a land populated by criminals. You know, the Brits sent their, you know, less than appeasing citizens to Australia as punishment. And, you know, the colonizers were those people initially. So you have a little bit of that in the culture. Anyway, there we go. Nice little start to the show. 7 minutes in. Let's get into this. I really like Regis Prograis to beat Jojo. I was giving Jojo Diaz the benefit of the doubt all week. I was doing my due diligence on Jojo Diaz, and mate, he just in our Discord group, I shared his last fight. It's on YouTube. You can, if you guys are kind of torn on Jojo Diaz, just watch his last fight. That's all I'm gonna say. He fought an 8-rounder in Mexico against a guy who I think was 6-4, and he looked. I talked about it yesterday. He looked, his neurology, his reactions, his speed, everything looked like he was in slow motion. It was tough. El Nino got it done. Sandoval. It was a close fight. I watched it. I wasn't able to watch it live. Ricardo Sandoval coming through. Tough kid. Taraji. It was a close fight. Maybe they do it again. Who knows? And, you know, the last 2 times I've flip-flopped on my instinct, I got burned. That was one of them. At the beginning of the week, I was picking Sandoval. I reasoned with myself. I said 26-year-old. He's going to have the fresher legs. I said that Taraji was 30. And then I flip-flopped and went against it, and I lost that pick. And then a couple weeks ago, I picked Seb Fundora at the beginning of the week. And, you know, I gave you my breakdown. And then midweek, due to me being a loyalist and living in Australia, I flip-flopped. So I need to not do that so often. Sometimes we overthink things, and when I have a public page like this with a lot of smart boxing minds, you know, my favorite thing about my channel is we don't agree on everything. You know what I'm saying? And so sometimes I kind of second guess myself too. Regis by knockout, left training at Houston. Yeah, Regis, everything I heard, blue collar, Regis had a great camp. Getting rounds in with Carrington. He looks really in shape. He looks fit. Yeah, Mel. 100 good. Mel 07, wise man. West Goat. Just watched Duarte first go. See you again. Same thing, West Goat. I have Kenny beating Duarte. I have Kenny beating Duarte. You know what it is, West Goat? It is a case of recency bias, I feel. I feel that the recency bias, Duarte, people think about, you know, him being the first guy to stop Jojo, being the first guy to stop Madueño. You know, since the Ryan Garcia stoppage loss, he's gone 3-0. And In my opinion, Sims Jr. best win was in 2021 against Elvis Rodriguez. That was 4 years ago. And it's wild to me. I mean, the true blue boxing heads, at least in America, understand how close this matchup is. For it to be, you give me Kenny Sims Jr. at plus money, dude. What are we talking? Are we serious? I put my bet in early in the week, and I got Sims at I got him. I think at 265. I got him at 265, and I'm loving that bet. And watch if you guys are betting, and I don't do this, some of you boys do, and I think that's why some of you guys come to my channel, because the person who bets on odds, which is a thing, what's the old saying? You throw enough shit on a wall, some of it'll stick. So betting on odds is a methodology, right? There's also research betting, like we do. We do research and logical betting, and there's volume betting. There's underdog betting. There's all different styles, whatever style you have. But if you're doing odds betting and you're seeing Sims Jr. as an underdog and you're thinking that Duarte is a lock based on the odds, you got to watch both styles. So it's going to really come down to decision making for Kenny Sims Jr. because he punches with you. He's a dog. He stays right there in the strike zone, and Duarte's a good body puncher. Duarte's offensive arsenal and his execution, his game plan is pretty one-dimensional. He could crack. That's the thing. He wants to get in there, be in the wheelhouse, break the body down, crack. But Sims Jr. wants to do the same. He's just he's a higher level, in my opinion, in the pocket of what he's doing technically. Everything with his guard, everything with, not showcasing both shoulders. Sometimes Duarte has this thing where he's in the pocket, right? You're either, if we're gonna slug it out in the pocket, and I love pocket fighting. I love fighting in a phone booth when I'm sparring. So if you're gonna go both shoulders here, right, and you're my opponent, and you're gonna go both shoulders, and you're gonna do the style where, kind of like how Higa likes to do it. Some heavyweights, they'll put their head on their opponent's chest here, and then just try to punch over the guard here and get under the elbows, but they give you both shoulders. If you're going to give your opponent both shoulders, you better be defensive sound and you better be durable. You know what I mean? Because that's one way. I don't do it that way. I pick a side. Me being an orthodox fighter, I'm going to take my lead shoulder on another orthodox fighter, and I'm going to lean in on inside of their guard. And if they're going to play that game with me, then I don't even need to have my lead side up. I can protect this part of my head by just contact on their show here. So I'm going to be working my backhand to the body over the top and then weaving in and out and then using my footwork in the close proximity to angle change, right? Duarte doesn't do that, and Duarte gets caught a lot clean in those exchanges. The thing is, Sims doesn't have one-punch knockout power. I always say, if Kenneth Sims Jr. had one-punch knockout power, he'd be a household name. Not many people have, even if he had a little higher of a knockout to win ratio, because the average boxing fan who doesn't get excited about fights like we do will see Sims Jr. record. They instantly will look to the knockout to win ratio and see that, I think he has eight wins by knockout, something like that. But then they'll automatically think and make a, false assumption that he fights a certain way. No, he doesn't use the whole ring. He is kind of a flat-footed fighter. He has, he's going to have the speed advantage. I give him the reflexes advantage, the decision-making. He's going to have to fight Duarte at a specific range and distance, and he's just going to have to be defensively sound. He is going to punch with him, and it's a fun matchup. My whole point is, I'm not saying I'm taking Sims Jr. because I'm a Sims Jr. fan. I'm not saying I'm betting against Duarte because I don't like him. I like Duarte. I like his camp. I like his team. I like his growth. He's being backed. His handlers think that he's going to be a world champion, which is fine. You're giving me Sims at plus 265, mate. You're giving me him at 265. Yep. No, he's not. And Sims, I like the idea that Sims Jr. spars. I talked about it. Went to Terrence Crawford. Got a lot of rounds in with Bud. He's one of these guys. Even though he's from Chicago, Illinois is not a huge. I mean, they're not known for boxing. You know what I mean? It's not the boxing commission in Illinois. So, what gyms. I know more MMA fighters who come from Chicago than boxers. You got Bilal Muhammad out of Chicago. Bahamondes has come over to fight in Bilal's camp in Chicago. You had my boy, the other bully. There were two bullies out of Chicago. Ricardo, damn it, I always forget his name. He retired a couple years ago. Fun fighter. But yeah, so Chicago more, I know more MMA guys out of the Shy. Lewis Taylor, Handguns Taylor's out of Chicago than I do boxers. I mean, how many other boxers from Chicago right now can you name? My point is the fight's in Chicago. There is don't get it twisted, even though it's the Midwest cornfields, a large Hispanic population in the Midwest. And so when we're talking about crowd favoritism, Duarte might have the crowd. I don't know. I'd have to see it. I don't know if this is going to be a case of when Bud Crawford was filling out the arena in Omaha on his journey to becoming a world champion. By the time Bud left to go fight Ricky Burns for his title at 35, Crawford was already selling out Omaha. So these are questions that I'm interested in. I'm interested in the crowd. I'm interested in, no A side, B side. It's a Golden Boy card. A side, B side. Do these things matter? You kind of have to say they do. I think it's a coin flip. I do. As fans, casuals are like, there's no fights this weekend. As fans, stylistically, this fight was supposed to go down last year. I talked about this in my breakdown. If you want to see more logical reasoning, go to my playlist and check out my Stats Don't Lie video. They were supposed to fight in November. They were asking for the fight each other on social media. Sims had to pull out due to a knee injury. And the simple fact of for Sims Jr. not to be a household name, but Duarte, I think the average boxing fan probably knows Duarte more, and this fight's still to go on, it tells you something. Yeah, GAR, that's my guy at 40. I mean, yeah, who does Julius, right? We asked that question, but he loves Duarte. There's a lot to like about him. I don't think this is off topic. GMS put on the elect a little off topic. Nick Ball and Sam Goodman goes the distance. I think this is a hot topic. I already have money on Sam Goodman beating Nick Ball, and I have him by decision. When we get closer to that, I'm going to give you my Stats Don't Lie video. I have logical reasoning behind it. I have it broken down. Styles make fights. You give me Sam Goodman is a huge dog, and once again, I feel that it's people looking at Goodman's knockout to win ratio. I think it's people thinking that the jump from 122 to 126 is too big, but I got Sam beating Ball. I think Sam is a level above Nick Ball. Johnny, there's a channel that breaks down every channel that gives UFC bets and picks and shows results every week so the consumer can put their money with smart predictors. Yeah. All right. So, and I'm not taking Sam Goodman because I live in Australia. I've seen Sam Goodman live about 5-6 times. There is something, we talk about energy. We talk about fighters who have a buzz to them, right? And if anything, I think the fight goes the distance. I don't see Nick Ball stopping Goodman. When we talk about energy, we talk about trajectory. It's kind of one of the things about Duarte. He does have this buzz about him. He does have energy about him. So I understand why people are picking Duarte. Duarte is also, has power. There's a lot of marketability behind Duarte. With Sam Goodman, guys, take this for whatever you want. He has a traveling circus. Like, I always have to reference that. Because that's important. There's a group of about, maybe at least 500 of them that travel with Sam all throughout his fights. They're called the Mad Bunch. They take a big section up. They bring, it's almost akin to soccer, how there's a cheering section and they have their cheers. They have signs. It's for Sam Goodman. So where he comes from, the people in the know, they've been waiting for this opportunity for a long time. He got the Inoue fight for a good reason. He was the #1 contender at 22. He's going to be anyone who fights Ball at 26 is going to be the longer guy. I think 26 might actually be a better weight class for Goodman based on his strengths, how he maneuvers and operates. Very slick boxer, sharp, skilled, angles, volume. Just, the one knock, which we could find holes in anyone's game, is some people just aren't blessed with that pop. And sometimes he, I'd like to see him volume punch a bit more. But when you look at the holes in Ball's game, that offensive marauding arsenal, sort of like Tim Tszyu. Tim Tszyu was thought to be a top 10 guy until he wasn't. Tim Tszyu isn't as sloppy or kind of hyper with his approach, but it's similar to Nick Ball, how, you know, the maraud forward, come straight at you, push you on your back foot, overwhelm you with you know, being in front of you. For Tim, it worked until it didn't work, and now all the knock on him now at one time before Murder Zylev or before Seb the first time was all the good. Do you know what I mean? So with Ball style and any fighter who kind of does that, his footwork, he switches his feet. There's a way to slide in and out of the pocket. You know, when you think about your footwork, your front foot, your back foot should guide you. You know, coaching the fundamentals of boxing, when I'm teaching somebody who wants to learn how to box, the back foot is the one that guides you, not the front foot, meaning you're sliding in and out. So think about it when you were doing like a high school geometry class and you had that instrument, and the one instrument has the pencil on the front, the other instrument has the pin, a protractor. It was a compass. I always get mixed up with the protractor and compass because the simple one, the half moon, you would think would be called the protractor. It's opposite. Well, he pulled out because of a cut. He did have a bad cut. I mean, what do you mean TJ Doheny of all people? TJ Doheny is a legit world champion. TJ Doheny is a dog. Oh, you're talking about TJ Doheny was fighting anyway pretty decent, mate. So where I was getting at is, when you look at your footwork like that, it's kind of a drill I do with new clients. You're sliding forward, the back foot leads you. Sliding back, the back foot releases. Angle, back foot. Move the shoulders with the body. Rule number one of footwork, never cross your feet. Never let your back foot come in front of your front foot. Some guys could get away with it. You know, Lomachenko would do things unorthodox with his footwork that we had never seen someone be successful with, and he's an outlier. Nick Ball is not that. So my point is, when you put that style, somebody who breaks a lot of rules technically, against a guy who's a technician, I'm always going to side with the technician. We won't know until it happens. You give me plus 500, though, Sam Goodman against Nick Ball, and we take the pros and cons and we put them matched up against each other, I'm going to go with the technician. How do I have Goodman beating Ball when Ball beat Raymond Ford? I don't really like doing boxing maths. I have Goodman, to answer your question, I have Goodman scoring more points and winning more rounds against Nick Ball. And Raymond Ford, that was a really close fight. It's not like Ball ran through Ray Ford and washed him. Some people think Ray won that fight. So hopefully that answered your question. It's a valid question, Mike. And that's another reason I got to give hats off to you boys. We literally have open debates every day on our live streams in a good way, but it's a valid question. And maybe if that was a 50, guys, I don't even know. Even if that was a 50-50 fight on the odds, I would still pick Goodman. It's just something about seeing how he operates. Watch Sam, even against Cesar Vaca, and Vaca kind of had Vaca was trying to be a really aggressive guy. I was ringside to that, and Cesar Vaca actually impressed me. He's the kid who came from Mexico to Australia, and he headlined against Goodman maybe 8 weeks ago. I was at that fight. He impressed me. Only had one guy with him. Wasn't intimidated. All fight week, he was switching on, and I was starting to think, I was like, there might be some sharp money coming on Vaca. But then Goodman did what he did in just one round, using Vaca's aggression against him, using his footwork, using his range, his timing, his jab, that sort of thing. So, like I said, even if it was even money, I think I'd take Goodman. I like Goodman on by decision against Ball. Buzzler in the house. Yeah, we'll see if I'm right. We'll see. Like I said, the only thing I could give you guys as an understanding when you come to my channel is reason from me, what I see in a fight. It's not always right. I mean, I've lost a couple close ones. Close fights. The draws kill me. There's some close ones. I mean, we got burned recently. Like, I only remember my losses, by the way. I don't remember the wins. that's how I operate in life. I only remember the losses, and I'm like, damn it, how did I miss that one? But it's just what I see, style versus style. Jojo Diaz versus Regis. More the Prince don't know how Goodman keeps ball off of him, considering this is 20's debut. Ball is one of the best pressure. Would you say more the Prince Nick Ball's elite? Would you put him? Would you take Nick Ball's pressure style, Mar, and would you put it? You'd feel comfortable with Nick Ball with that style? You think it's a polished style? You think it's elite? You think it breaks people? Do you think people are? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. We've seen pressure styles get exposed. I know. Yeah, the draws fucking kill me, mate. I'm pissed. We had 3 draws in 3 weeks, boys. When does that happen? Gucci Flores, Pacquiao. I didn't bet the Pacquiao fight, and then in Japan, that's insane. 3 draws in 3 weeks, and I only lost on one of them too. I won the draw in Japan. I didn't play Barrios. The one I lost was Gucci Flores. We all got. I don't have Prograis by stoppage. I got Regis. I got Regis by decision at nice money. There's definitely a conversation to have about Regis by stoppage, but let's see what I got. I put this up in our Discord. Right now, yeah, $1.65. My two leg lock that I really like. It pays $2.59. 100 gets you your money back, plus 159, and that's Canzales on points. So Canzales to win by a decision. That fight goes down tomorrow. I did study on this fight. You guys asked me to in the Discord. I broke it down in the Discord, but I didn't do a video upload. Carlos Canzales versus Panya Pradopsi. That is a rematch. They just fought. And I like Canzales on points at $1.57. I also like Regis on points at $1.65. You put those together. I shared this on our public YouTube page. I shared this in our Discord, and it's $2.59. And when you look at Canzales, his last 3 fights, yeah, the first fight, Canzales fought Taraji really well. Like there's an argument. He lost a majority decision to Taraji, and this is when Taraji was in the pound for pound list. There's an argument Canzales. I watched that fight yesterday. There's an argument Canzales won that fight. It was in Japan. He then fights Pradopsi, the guy he's fighting today. He fights Pradopsi in Taiwan or Thailand. He fights him in Thailand and loses a decision, and the scorecards were insane. And now Canzales is finally getting some home cooking. He's fighting in his home country of Venezuela against the Thai fighter that he lost in Thailand to. So I got him on points at 157 in the rematch. I really like that. Jojo, yeah, it is on YouTube. XD, if you can't, XD, join the Discord. Guys, join the Discord. It's a couple bucks a month. It supports the channel. It's pinned in the comment here. So go to the top of our chat, click that comment link. You become a Johnny Says Boxing Insider. You get access to the Discord. Nice, mate. Oh, Chavez and Sandoval did parlay them. Did the draw kill you? Under 1.5 knockdowns. I love that pick, Willy Wonka. Under 1.5 knockdowns. The one thing. Do you guys think Duarte has a tendency to fade? Because some people get offended to ask that question. I wanted to, boys, let me know this. Guys, what do you think? Do you think Duarte has a tendency to fade due to his physicality? More muscle-bound guys take more oxygen, more blood flow circulation. You get the muscles fill up and it takes more energy. Uh-huh. I don't see him. I don't see him stopping Sims. I think Sims wins the decision. Okay. Yeah, but he got stopped. It's a tough question. That's why I'm asking. I don't. I'm wondering what you guys are seeing with that with his output. What's up, goat in the house? Ahmed Ab. Like it's a serious question. I'm not. It's not a trick question. I want to see what you guys are seeing because I don't think to push. I don't think the Ryan Garcia fight is a fair. I'm talking when he goes the distance. I'm not. You know, he got stopped against Garcia. That's not. He got caught with the left hook. That yeah. He's because the reason why I'm asking is because Duarte is going to be in the wheelhouse the entire time. It's not like he's going to have to worry about chasing Sims because Sims is going to be there the entire time. I actually like because we have to then think about if you like either guy by decision, you then if you like Duarte by decision, you then have to this. I'm just trying to help you out, even though we're disagreeing. I like Sims by decision, but if you like Duarte by decision, you then have to think about the mid to late rounds and him outworking Sims and him not stopping Sims and him being able to keep up that work rate and then have the skill set to outpoint Sims in the pocket without getting touched. You thought he lost against Akhmedov. Yeah, I heard that. I think somebody in the Discord was talking about the Akhmedov fight. Regis and Kenny were in camps together. Interesting to see how. You know, and Mar the Prince, statistically, when we do see that, I think we're going to see good performances. Well, you don't have to hurt Duarte to beat him. You just have to outbox him. I think you could outbox. Duarte could definitely be outboxed. Somebody. Yeah, we're going to find out. Is there politics? Are we going to have to deal with that in Illinois? It's a question you have to ask, boxing fan. Sims is fighting in Chicago, but is the Chicago Boxing Commission? I don't know much about him. PJ, go to the. I posted PJ. I gave you 2 free parlays, mate. They're on the YouTube channel. Yeah, Wonka. I effed up. I thought it. Yeah, good call on it. Don't if you don't want that action, don't play it. Duncan's the following weekend. He's the British. My damn sports bet up. He's a British striker, a former basketball player. Christian Leroy Duncan's one of my favorite guys out of the UK. I was watching him fight when he was in Cage Warriors. Former basketball player, really athletic striker, has a handful of fights in the UFC. I got excited and thought he was fighting this weekend. He's fighting the following weekend. Yeah, I think. Yeah, it's a Golden Boy card. All right, guys. So we got. I heard on our Discord, some of the boys were talking upset on. Masudi versus Molina. And then, yeah, the only 3 fights I have action on. Well, Cal Cruz just got a late replacement. Yeah, Cal Cruz's original replacement would have gave him a more tough opponent. Cal Cruz's replacement now is like a middleweight. So I got a lot of action. I'm going heavy on the Canzales fight, the Regis Prograis fight, and the Sims Jr. fight. There's a bunch of other mid-tier domestic fights that I know the boys are going to be betting on. I'm gonna stay away. This is our first fight card in August. I'm gonna get off to a hot start. Yeah, Kareem Hackett's out. They replaced Kareem Hackett with a super middleweight. Yeah, what's good, Johnny? Taking the over on Duarte fight. I love it, landslide. What money are you getting on that? I love the over on that. So yeah, the over on Duarte and then Prograis money line. Yeah, I don't bet on Tristan Calcruth, mate. I talked about Calcruth all week. Tristan Calcruth to me, man. Imagine if you were Calcruth's coach. Calcruth is one of those athletes, one of those fighters that, as a coach, makes you pull your hair out. He just, the way he operates in there, man. Jesus, he's frustrating to watch. I really think a 3-fight Josh Edwards beats him. Josh Edwards is fighting this weekend. Josh Edwards is 3-0. I mean, it might be crazy, but I think Josh Edwards at 3-0 would beat Tristan Calcruth. I do, yeah. I don't bet. I just watch Calcruth with sort of interest because people love him. Yeah. Edwards is gonna have his 4th pro fight. He just went pro. This would be his 4th fight in the calendar year, I'm pretty sure. He just turned pro last year. He's slow. I like how they're slowly moving him, but the heavyweight division in America and in general is so lean that, for you put together 10 wins, 9 stoppages, you're already going to be stepping up. So I like how they're moving him based, we saw him on like a Long Beach card, and then we saw him on, I think, I don't know if it was an MVP card, and now he's on this I think he's on the Golden Boy card. Yeah, blue collar, Canzales. And when you watch Canzales, the first loss, I broke this down on our Discord, why I think, and Canzales is finally getting some home cooking in Venezuela. He loses that decision in Japan. He loses the decision in Thailand. Dude, the fighting commissions in Thailand, bro. If you know anything about Muay Thai, if you know anything about MMA, boxing in Thailand, dude, good luck trying to win a fight on the cards there against a local Thai. But it's interesting that they're sending Canizales is finally getting some home cooking against a guy that, a lot of people thought he won that first fight. Is there money to be made? I'm taking Regis by decision. Regis on the money line's $1.18 on my book. 100 on him gets you $18 in return. Where's Chop Chop fighting? Chop Chop's my guy. I'm not getting out. Chop Chop's great little prospect. Archie Cortez, nah. They're fighting this weekend too. No, I'm not getting anything on Archie Cortez and Andrew Maloney. Is that this weekend? See, that's crazy. Sabava Casino. Yeah, Chop Chop fought my boy Dana Coolwell. So I've done tape on Chop Chop for the last 6 months. Top ranked prospect, Robert Garcia guy, young, fun, has a good story to him. People, has that, fun little growing fan base, has a good nickname. Dana started winning. Dana did well, though, against Chop Chop. Then again, Dana's 5'9", I think, 5'8", with a long reach. And Chop Chop's shorter and smaller. I mean, Colwell, that was a good test for Gonzalez. Colwell's a tough little out. We saw Colwell against Carrington, too. Carrington did well against Colwell in his style. But Jojo is a drunk. Yeah, they're Zorro. I mean, that's a fair point. No one should be calling him a crackhead. I didn't read that. Baracho. Jojo is a baracho. No cocas blanco. Would it be cabeza de coco? I don't know. I don't know the translation. Cabeza de coco. Solamente baracho. Barachito. Peter Garcia go to be a beast. Yeah, you know what, Landslide? Pita came down to Australia, and he came down with Navarro when Navarro got pieced up against Liam Paro, and I actually didn't like his work. I didn't like his work, man. I kind of was critical on Pita, and people were getting me in the comments because, I'm a fan of Robert Garcia, but I'm a coach. Whoa. That's a wild take. I'm not going to comment on that last comment. That was insane. In England, it's elite. You could get arrested and sent to prison for saying that. England has the worst freedom of speech laws by journalists, to where if you would say that in England and get caught on camera, you would go to prison for what you just said. Hook like Lorman, that comment right there, even if it was true, you could go to prison. I think Jojo is going to make it to the end. Prograis by knockout. Yeah, I just didn't like his corner work, Joel. With Navarro, he was just basically telling Navarro to just stay. That it was bad advice. If you rewatch the corner work, what he was telling Navarro against Paro, it was bad. It wasn't good. Yeah, I think he does great at 47 hook. I think Liam going to 47 is a great move. He was a big 140. He was at 140 his whole career since he was 18 years old. I'm just saying that's not my. I don't know. I didn't really follow his personal life. No shade to that. I'm an old head. I ain't got time to be following all these little personal lives, that sort of thing. Chop, Arbor right out, or find out different cars doing. No, he's gonna be working Duarte's corner. He's definitely with Duarte. Guys, watch Jojo. If you guys are still the only hesitation on Regis versus Jojo is will Jojo get stopped. Watch what his neurology is gone. His reflexes are gone. He fought in TJ last month against you fill in the blank. I love you guys fill in the blank against Jojo's last opponent was blank. And Jojo did not look good. He looked when you see a guy whose neurology is off because of too much headshots, a long boxing career. Jojo at 32, he looked like he was 42 in there. He never the fastest guy, never the best hand speed, never twitchy, never these things. Good pocket fighter, gritty, body puncher. But mate, so the question will be, will Regis stop him? I could get burned taking Regis on points, but Regis on points, 165. I'd rather take Regis on points than disrespect Jojo. Me taking Regis on points is actually showing reverence to Jojo, a former world champion. But Regis is a big puncher at 40, and Jojo's never fought at 40. And people, dude, yeah, all right. The Zarilla, the 3 fights ago, he didn't look that good in his hometown. He had that homecoming against Zarilla. Zararito, he didn't look good, but he didn't get washed. Like, he loses to Devin, he loses to Catterall. He drops Catterall. The thing about Regis's style, though, he has always relied on his speed, reflexes, sort of thing, and that it is evident to see that those are diminishing. It's normal. We get old as men. He's 36. So what he used to thrive on, what he sort of made his money on, those sort of reflex skill sets, those are fading. You can see it. Is he faded enough there to lose to Diaz? I don't think so. I think this is perfect for Prograis to look good. Regis, he's a confident fighter. He needs confidence. I think, what does he do after this fight? That's the question. You know what I mean? There's options. Let me put a finishing thought on Liam going to 47. I do want to address the Duarte rumors. You guys said that it looked like Duarte was on the PEDs. But Liam going to 47, I mean, 47 right now is super lean. You know what I mean? Norman Jr., champ there. We know that Boots left, Bud left, EJ left. 47 just only a few moons ago was hot. Now it's not. Barrios and probably Raleigh will be elevated. I keep hearing he was, but he's not. So let's just say Raleigh is elevated as a champ. You have one of the belts is vacant, right? You have Raleigh, Barrios, and Norman Jr. as the champs. Liam Paro goes up to 47. I think Liam would fare well. I think Liam could win a belt at 47. He looked good in his last fight, and he looked good against Matias. It's just that Hitchens used his timing, accuracy, and his jab to beat Liam. Sometimes a very accurate, precise skill set. That's why styles make fights, man. So that accuracy gives a lot of punchers fits because when you're accurate, you have a jab as an orthodox fighter fighting a southpaw guy. It kind of negates your backhand. So that Hitchens matchup was a tough matchup for Liam. And Hitchens is a big 140. We'll see how long Hitchens stays at 140. But yeah, to answer your point, I think it's a great move to go to 47 because 40 right now, I don't really see. I mean, Liam could challenge Matias again, but we'll see what happens. I see Vargas going at it with Tito Mercado. Yeah, man, Tito, somebody needs to get behind Tito and give him a fight. I think both guys need to retire XD23. I think both guys need to retire. Jojo, who was super stoked when we saw Jojo Diaz versus Regis Prograis official? Were you guys excited? I was excited to see, though, Duarte versus Sims. I'm actually more excited to see Josh Edwards on the undercard. He only has 3 pro fights. I see Vargas going at it with Tito Mercado. Tito has a big shoulder injury. Yeah, okay. I did hear about that. Crocker and Donovan are fighting. That's next week, Mar. That's a good fight. That's a cracker. I think it's going to be a bit one-sided. Crocker and Donovan. We love our channel secretly. We get our channel here. We get action on. We love the British action, the Japanese action. We get action everywhere. I love getting new subscribers and they talk about finally a channel doing the Japanese fights or finally a channel doing the Brit fights. It's like, we're boxing heads here, mate. Look at blue collars in the house. Look at that. How did this happen? The boys. Blue collar. Tap into our Discord now. So blue collar, go to our page on YouTube. Whenever you become a Johnny Says Boxing Insider, you get access to our Discord. So with other benefits here. Boxing fan, always taking care of people, man. Boxing fan's my guy. I bet Catterall gets the winner. Yeah, Mar the Prince. Mar, what were you talking about? Okay, we'll move on because I think Mar the Prince and I had kind of unfinished business with Goodman versus Ball, but we could get into that next week. So Crocker was right in range versus Donovan, just nevertheless, I think he does better. Yeah. Okay, Crocker and Donovan is an interesting matchup, and that's kind of what I'm seeing too. Hook like Norman. Nice, dude. I just put all that together. You know Norman's hitting the mainstream when we got screen names like that because I was always comparing Norman's hook to, he's like a mini Joe Frazier, even how he carries himself. Maybe the play is over on both fights. Landslide, what are your odds on the over versus picking a decision? How do you, as bettors, do you guys feel more comfortable picking overs or picking favorites by decision or method of victories? Because I'm noticing with a lot of the boys from Gary's Discord who, you know, come on my channel and the guys on my channel have gone to Gary, the overs are a really popular bet. I just never, I'm not an over guy. I'm not a guy who generally will bet the overs. I like method of victories and money lines. Are the odds similar? Definitely over. Okay, so picking the over will be a less riskier bet. Depends on the odds. I'm in this specific fight because I'm not getting the option to pick an over. So in this specific fight, Regis, and you feel more comfortable picking the over for Regis and Jojo rather than Regis on the money line or Regis by decision? Because Regis by decision will be the better odds. Yeah, I guess, because you got to take into consideration the draw and the knockout. So over would be the safer bet. Okay. I like my line as an over. What's up, Goku in the house? Johnny, I would make a parlay with the over on the first fight, the earliest. See, my issue with that, and I'm not pushing back, Goku, my issue is my book in Australia doesn't give me, on all the fights, the option to pick the over. It sounds to me your sports book on every fight allows you to pick that over bet. That was kind of the intention of my question, because I've seen this bet so much on my channel and in the Discord. is this just a constant bet option for all boxing matches that you guys are getting? Because I don't even get that. It's either on my sports book, it's either will the fight go the distance, yes or no. That's on every. You know what? That's not even on every fight. Because right now I'm trying to get Josh Edwards. Josh Edwards is $1.03. 100 on him gets you $3. So I want Josh Edwards either by stoppage or see if I could get Josh Edwards from rounds 1 to 4, rounds 1 to 3. Because I'm sure that over saved some of you boys. The Japanese fights, the over, you would have hit the over on every fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, what would the 3-leg parlay have paid if anybody played it? The 3 world title fights in Japan, if you would have picked the overs on all 3, you would have hit. You know, I hit on Rosa getting stopped late. I predicted that on Gary's live stream. I'm going to give myself flowers because one of you boys reminded me that I picked that. But that hit the over. Obviously, the Vargas fight in Higa, even though that was a draw, that I got some money on, 17-1. I got talked into taking that bet on the live stream by TJ. But that over hit, and then Taraji versus Sandoval. That over hit. It just has me thinking, shit, all 3 of those hit the over. What would those 3 have together collectively paid on a 3-leg? I don't have these answers, but I wonder if somebody on the chat played that. Because if we're looking for pattern recognition or sort of stats don't lie, statistically speaking, I'm going to spend an hour or so and look at our last 3 fight cards in Japan with the smaller divisions. I mean, excluding Sasaki versus Norman Jr. McGay, Catterall's ranked 2, Haney. Ooh, Mar dropping some knowledge. Talani Bengay. So we don't. Do you guys consider the IBO? I don't. I was always raised that the IBO wasn't a legit sanctioning body. I don't. Why would Catterall be paired up with somebody from the IBO and not the and not the IBF? Lloyd in the house. What do you think? Great question. Lloyd in the house. I broke this fight down actually, Lloyd, because our Discord asked for it. He's talking about the rematch. The rematch though, Lloyd, is happening in Venezuela. And I have Canizales winning. Yeah. So Goat says think about the Schofield Farmer fight. I would have thought the over was locked. The over narrative that I was speaking on was specifically for the lighter weight classes in Japan. You know what I'm saying? So, because I'm trying to, there's obviously systems here that are getting overlooked, and I'm trying to look at the bets and the matchups in a different lens moving forward. Yeah, there was an upset in Japan yesterday. Some of you boys got action on it, you savages. A 5-1 hit yesterday in Japan. I did. Yeah, I was not playing that fight, but some of the boys in the Discord jumped on it. If anything, if I see some obscure fight, it's the only action. Why not put $10 on the dog? But I'm not that type of bettor. Let's see what that fight was. I was telling you guys not to take it. So last night in Japan, you had Kai Watanabe versus Ryo Saito. Kai Watanabe had 17 pro fights. He was a $1.21 favorite, fighting a guy in Ryo Saito who had 6 or 7 pro fights. 5-1 dog, and Saito won. So I didn't play that fight, but in the Discord, I think somebody actually said take Saito for the reason of the odds in Japan. But going into last 2 nights ago, I was 100% convinced I was a wizard for the Japanese fights. You know how gambling is, dude. You get on a little winning streak, you're the motherfucking man. You start walking differently, strutting. You know, my girlfriend was like, Johnny, what's wrong with your leg? Are you hurt? I was like, nah, baby, that's my pimp walk. You know, I was hitting everything in Japan. And then Wednesday night happens, and you know, Sandoval versus Taraji happens, and then Vargas draw, and then you start second guessing everything. That's the life of a bettor. This is what we do. I was super convinced that I had hit in Japan for the last 6 months. You know, people start thinking that your leg's injured. Is your knee hurt? Nah, baby, that's just my pimp walk. Some people get confused, but that's what betting does to us. Glad you understand my analogy, but that literally is a real story. We were at a birthday party this past weekend, and you know, just my natural Youngstown, Ohio walk was coming out, and some people aren't used to it down here in Sydney. And I was like, no, I'm not injured. You know, I'm just pimping. Guys, we're approaching an hour. It's 7:30 my time in the morning. I got a client here in about 40 minutes. I'm going to keep it rolling for a bit. Either way, Mar the Prince. Either way, Catterall is in a good spot with good rankings in the IBO and IBO. Okay, Mar, sell me on the IBOs. Mar, is there... Maybe am I undervaluing the IBO in relationship to the other 4 sanctioning body setup fights? Like, what am I not seeing in not paying? Because I was always, maybe it's an old school, I was always raised like the IBO, really the relevance there for fighters in their rankings. I mean, because when you hear about a guy, like for instance in Australia 2 nights ago, Floyd Masson was the IBO cruiserweight champ, world champ, but they announced him as a world champ. But in America, they wouldn't announce Floyd Masson as a former cruiserweight world champion because he had once owned the IBO. Yeah, the pimp hand, boy. That's a metaphorical thing, though. This isn't our grandpa's era, mate, landslide. Metaphorically, dude, baby, you know that it's a crazy. So I was living in Long Beach from 2004 to 2010, and I was living in a neighborhood called California Heights. It was off of Cherry and Wardlow, in about 2 miles north of the Long Beach airport. And I started training at this LA Fitness, and started doing weight training there, and then playing basketball as well. I grew up playing ball, and I started hooping with Nate Dogg. Nate was always running on the courts, and so was Scruncho. Scruncho is a stand-up comic from Long Beach, and Scruncho was the dude who played the assistant pimp in How High. Powder. No one say that now, netta, like you say now, netta powder. I don't even know what that shit means, but it sounds good. That dude. So the whole baby powder thing's from Scruncho. That was a bit he would do on stage. Sims should be. I think it's wild to me that Sims. That's why I'm saying Sims. You give me Sims plus money, I'm on it. Catterall so boring, Dad. That's for him to call out Ryan. You think Catterall the audacity to call out Ryan and Raleigh? You think he's boring? I like Jack Catterall's style. Yeah, rest in peace, Nate, the king of the hook. People, I was at the park one day. That's when I saw her face. She looked kinda catty to me. Dude, Nate Dogg was the king of the hooks, boy. That song on Above the Rim soundtrack, one of the most underrated or forgotten about soundtracks, in my opinion, of all time, is that Above the Rim soundtrack. But Nate, I think it was Big Pimpin' 2. Hey, I was, dude, and the Dove Shack. So I don't know if you guys know Nate Dogg's brother. He had a group called the Dove Shack, and they had a Summertime in the LBC. That was from the show soundtrack. So the show soundtrack, in my opinion, if we're talking hip hop, the most underrated soundtrack is the show. And then the most forgotten about soundtrack from the 90s was probably Above the Rim. But yeah, revisit 2 of those soundtracks, man, filled with fucking bangers, man. But Nate Dogg's brother, he would always be on whenever the Dove Shack would release albums. Nate was always on them. I'll ride with her, I'll slide with her. But yeah, great movie too. Guys, we're an hour in. Like this video. Boxing fan, appreciate you hooking up our boy with the Johnny Says Boxing Insider VIP. Yeah, Nate, dude, Nate's hooks, legend for, dude, super legendary hook guy. And he would be singing hooks, and then you know, it would sound melodic, and then you would hear some of the lyrics be like, Nate would be able to get away with anything. Um, yeah, he was a legend, man. People for, you know, rest in peace. Life is so fleeting. He was so legendary. Turkey milk. Turkey milk. This is how we do it, JSB. Yeah, man. We'll get into old 90s hip hop soundtracks. Turkey. I don't know, man. But me personally, my opinion on Al Sheik, I still don't trust him, man. I don't trust him. You can see what he does. I don't like his attitude. I don't like how he treats people. Yeah, he's not my type of guy. Even if Turkey Al Sheik was the electrician down the block that, you know, worked on, you know, my power unit here, and he wanted to go get a beer and he had that same exact personality, I wouldn't kick it. I wouldn't kick it with Turkey Al Sheik. I don't like guys who demean other people for the sake, and then they'll try to act like they're playing around or I was never the type of dude to kick it with dudes who would try to. There's one thing with clowning each other. Like my group, my circle, growing up. If you had a bad game, like during one of our basketball games, you're gonna get roasted. Like if you struck out 3 times, we're gonna clown you. If you know, during football, if I would throw an interception, it got returned for a pick six, I'd get roasted. So we would get roasted for performance-based things. And if you got C's or D's on your report card, we would clown you. So my group of friends were so competitive academically and athletically growing up. That's one thing though. But guys like Turkey Al Sheik, and we all grew up with these sort of guys. He's the type of dude that when you're like out and you meet a new group of girls and you're trying to like vibe with them, he would hate on you in front of the girls to try to get the girl. We would call that dude a Captain Kirk or a Captain Save-A-Ho. Turkey Al Sheik's behavior, how he goes about his business, he's like a Captain Save-A-Ho, a Captain Kirk, and I don't got time for that. And it's so evident what he does. And he would be that way even if, like I said, he was Turkey, the dude who, you know, is a bartender at the hotel here. So yeah, that's my whole take on him. Yeah, I mean, he does it all the time, and then he deleted it. He deleted it, and he gets emotional, and he gets offended, and I'm talking. You know what type of personality I'm talking about, though. It's like, bro, why? Then you got to pull your mate to the side, dude. Why? We used to, when we would if you there were 2 separate words. I don't know what part of the country you guys are from, or how old you are, but if you were around your boys and you were hating, you would just be called, man, why you hating on me? You're a hater. But if you would do that in front of a girl, we would use the word ace. So, man, why you acing on me? Man, this cat's always acing on people. Like, he's such a hater. He always got an ace on me in front of this girl. Like, so he would be like that type of dude as well. Turkey Al Sheik's personality, he's so corny. He would hate on you, and then he'd also ace on you trying to, like, get one over. Or, like, you're talking to a girl, right, and you're not exclusive. And the week before you were hanging out with another girl, Turkey Al Sheik's the type of dude who would just put you on blast and bring that up. Yo, Johnny, what about Ashley, though? What about Ashley? I used to hang one of my old teammates, a dude named Rashad. Rashad would always, yo, Johnny, though, what about Kelly? What was she saying last week? And I'm talking to a different girl right here. That's Turkey's game plan right there. Yeah, God, that's right. You guys get the point. You know, he's not a cold. You wouldn't want to kick it with that dude. Even as a billionaire, you wouldn't, and as a normal person, you wouldn't. Personalities, they may change over time, but the true crux, the spirit of people, you always see through that. You could tell the spirit of him. Goku, good man. Goku. Goku, more and more, mate. I love the contrasted personality you bring to the chat, bro. Because I like the contrarian approach, but I also like the authentic approach. So I got time for you. I got time for you, Goku. Funny guy. So boys, it's 7:35. I got my buddy is flying in from London. I haven't seen him in 7 months. He lands in about 2 hours. I got to go get him at the airport. I got a train today. I have a client in like 30 minutes. I have to go to the airport to get my buddy Kieran. He's a Brit. It's going to be a shit show. I mean, when I I met Kieran, and he was my first friend in Sydney in 2014. He's, you know, finance guy, does really well in the UK, but he's a Brit, dude. This dude is all about, they call it getting on the piss, and I don't drink. So I think I'm just gonna have to give him a key to, you know, the place, show him where the spare room is, and just have at it, be like, have fun. I can't be going out like we used to when I was younger. But guys, stay tuned. I appreciate all the support. Join our Discord. The link's in the comment section below. If you're still here over an hour in, I mean, I got mad love for you. Let's get money this weekend. Also, it's not always about money. It's about having fun. If you're betting and you're not having fun with it, and you're stressed out and you're depressed and you're fighting with your people and you're fighting with your girl and you're borrowing money, don't gamble, mate. Come on. Don't gamble. We're not here for that reason. Appreciate you. I'll see you boys in the Discord, though. Let's get it in.